Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is the legitimate way to deal with an election that a lot of folks, including me, think had a lot of problems in 2020. I think that's what we should have done.
I believe JD Vance is arguably the worst politician this country had the displeasure of having, to not just have to look at this face in our Congress, but to even have the opportunity to vote for this miserable, racist, misogynistic baffles my mind. It gives you the exact definition on how far this country has gone, and I mean that in the worst way possible. People like Donald Trump and JD Vance have the opportunity to your life even more than it already is. And 80 million people are cool with it. Well, I'm here to on their parade. I'm about to show you multiple reasons on why you should despise JD Vance. And why you should never, ever walk into a voting booth and circle that dumb name. See, I don't trust anyone that thinks child-free people are sociopaths.
Right, there are just these basic cadences of life that I think are really powerful and really valuable when you have kids in your life. And the fact that so many people, especially in America's leadership class, just don't have that in their lives, I worry that it makes people more sociopathic and ultimately our whole country a little bit less less mentally stable. And of course, you talk about going on Twitter. You go on Twitter, and almost always the people who are most deranged and most psychotic are people who don't have kids at home.
So let me get this straight. Just because I don't want kids, nor do I have any kids, that makes me a sociopath? No, actually, you know what makes you a sociopath in my eyes, JD? Googling a video of a dolphin violating a woman. I didn't even know that was a thing. Child-free people are sociopaths? That is such a weird thing to say. See, I think people that just pop out crotch goblins because society told them to, because mom and dad told them to, because grandma told them to. Grandma wants to hold the baby for 5 minutes and give it back to me. See, I think people that have children just because society tells them to are definitely walking a fine line of psychopathy. I said what I said, but while we're on the topic of child-free people.
Look, Megan, I've heard from a lot of conservative women and frankly a lot of liberal women who said, I'm actually glad that you pointed out that there's become something profoundly anti-family in our public policy and in our public conversation. Obviously, it was a sarcastic comment. I've got nothing against cats. I've got nothing against dogs. I've got one dog at home and I love him, Megan. But look, this is not, people are focusing so much on the sarcasm and not on the substance of what I actually said. And the substance of what I said, Megan, I'm sorry, it's true.
Anti-family, yeah, because some people just have families. Some people just don't want children to control their lives. And your excuse of you not having anything against childless cat ladies, yeah, I don't buy it for a minute. Just admit it already, Jay. You hate people that are happy. You want people to be miserable just because your ass is miserable.
I want to protect as many unborn babies as possible. I also think we have to win the trust back of the American people. And one of the ways to do that is to be the truly pro-family party. I think we are. We've got to carry that message forward and actually enact some public policy to that effect.
Protect unborn babies for what? These things don't even know they're alive. And if the Republican Party is the party of pro-family, makes me not want to even have a family if Republicans are the ideal face of the American family.
Is birth control part of that policy, empowering women to be able to make those decisions before they get pregnant?
Look, obviously people need to be able to make those decisions. I don't think that I know any Republican, at least not a Republican with a brain, that's trying to take those rights away from people.
5 minutes later.
Today in Washington, Senate Republicans voted to block a bill put forward by Democrats that would guarantee access to contraception.
That, ladies, gens, and my alphabet friends, is the Republican Party in a nutshell.
This is the craziest fear tactic they're using right now. I think most Americans couldn't care less about Project 2025. I've reviewed a lot of it. There's some good ideas in there, Rob. There's some things that I disagree with, but most importantly, it has no affiliation with the Trump campaign. The left is trying to make a major news story about the fact that a conservative nonprofit is engaging in public policy work, even though that nonprofit doesn't have an affiliation with the Trump campaign. It just goes to show how little they have to run on.
Oh, JD, you'd be surprised how many people actually care about Project 2025. And can you Republicans please stop lying about Trump not having anything to do with Project 2025? That is a bullshit lie. His ideas are the literal backbone of this 900-page piece of document. And of course JD Vance thinks that there's some good ideas in there. He wrote the foreword of Project 2025. Of course he thinks there are good ideas in there. He helped write the damn thing. He hopes this becomes reality. I'm telling you. But let's hear Vance talk some more about abortion, shall we?
Should a woman be forced to carry a child to term after she has been the victim of incest or rape?
Look, my view on this has been very clear, and I think the question betrays a certain presumption that's wrong. It's not whether a woman should be forced to bring a child to term, it's whether a child should be allowed to live, even though the circumstances of that child's birth are somehow inconvenient or a problem to the society. The question really to me is about the baby.
Did you hear that? Getting raped is known as an inconvenience for JD Vance. I wonder if the couch you violated so maliciously would say the same thing. You inconsiderate, round-faced, dynamo from Running Man looking ass, sloth from the Goonies looking ass motherfucker. Hey Jay, didn't your mama become a drug addict after getting a job at a pharmacy and stealing their drugs and popping them after work on her free time? I bet you love the fact that the public knows that story.
This is one of the great tricks that I think the sexual revolution pulled on the American populace, which is this idea that, like, well, okay, these marriages were fundamentally, they were maybe even violent, but certainly they were unhappy. And so getting rid of them and making it easier for people to shift spouses like they change their underwear, that's going to make people happier in the long term. And maybe it worked out for the moms and dads, though I'm skeptical, but it really didn't work out for the kids of those marriages.
I am JD Vance and I want you to stay in a committed relationship, no matter the circumstances. Oh, you're getting raped and beaten violently? But wait, you have children, right? Well, you can't leave your children in a broken home. Suck it up, buttercup. Yeah, sacrifice your sanity. Throw away your whole life for a man or a woman that's abusing you. Just for your kids? No. Honestly, it would be selfish of you to stay in that relationship and have those children witness all of this abuse. It would actually be more selfless, more beneficial to the children if you left that relationship. Pack up your kids and escape that nightmare. That's what you should be doing. Men like JD Vance have no idea what a family is, nor do they know anything about relationships. But you know what he does know about? Contradictions.
So JD Vance was actually, confronted by Fox's Brett Baer about all the things JD Vance said about Donald Trump. Let me show you that.
Well, Senator, this is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him. Terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible.
I was wrong about Donald Trump. I didn't think he was going to be a good president, Brett. He was a great president.
If the flip-flop doesn't make you throw up in your mouth, the, sycophant he's turned into might.
Sycophant is spot on, and I mean, when I hear JD Vance saying like this, I wonder if Trump even vetted him. I don't even think Trump knows he said this or Trump just didn't care. It doesn't matter. I'm confused at how the this guy got the VP pick. But there's this TikTok DJ that remixed Freak a Leak and Vance saying, I'm a never Trump guy, I never liked him. And it is one of the best things you'll see all month.
I'm a never Trump guy. I'm a never Trump guy. I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I'm a never Trump guy. Never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I want to ask you about the former president's comments yesterday to the National Association of Black Journalists, where he said that Vice President Harris is, quote, all of a sudden black. As a father of 3 biracial children, did those comments give you pause at all?
They don't give me pause at all. Look, all he said is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent. She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of. I think it's totally reasonable for the president to call that out, and that's all he did. I mean, look, she's running as a tough on crime prosecutor, even though she implemented open border policies. She's saying that she wants to support the police, yet she wanted to defund the police just 3 years ago. It's totally reasonable to call out the fact that she pretends to be somebody different depending on the audience she's talking to.
This dude has biracial children and is cool with a man questioning a black woman's ethnicity and race. JD, what if Trump questioned your wife? wife? What if he doesn't believe she's Indian? What if he doesn't believe those children are yours because they're not white enough? This man cares more about his political career than he cares about his children. I don't have kids, so I'm gonna use my wife as an example. Any talk about my wife, oh, it's on. I don't care who it is. I wouldn't even hesitate half a second to put them in their place. I love my job, but I love my wife way more. But if you've come this far to the video and you're still confused about JD Vance, here's arguably the worst thing that he has ever said that should change your perspective on him immediately. At least I hope it will.
Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is the legitimate way to deal with an election that a lot of folks, including me, think had a lot of problems in 2020. I think that's what we should have done.
So it's very clear you would have done what Donald Trump asked you to do there, not what Vice President Mike Pence did.
There you have it. Do I even need to go any further? This man would have overturned the election on January 6th, 2021. The thing that they were going to hang Mike Pence for if he didn't do. I don't even know where we would be today if JD Vance was the vice president instead of Mike Pence and he actually overturned it. That is by far the scariest thing JD Vance has ever said. We're not going back. We are never, ever going back again. I just gave you a breakdown on why you should never vote for Donald Trump and JD Vance. But let me show you a man that you should give your vote to. Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's VP pick for President of the United States. If you've been living on Mars the last couple years, let me give you a very fast rundown on who this man is. 41st Governor of Minnesota, arguably one of the more progressive leftists in federal government. Here's what he did for his state. Legalized recreational marijuana in Minnesota. He gave free breakfast and lunches to low-income family children. Paid medical and paternity leave. Abortion rights have been codified. LGBTQIA+ rights are safe. This man is getting called Big Dad Energy for a reason. He's the literal embodiment of Rick Moranis in politics. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are exactly what we needed in this country today. And I can't wait to see what they do once they win. I really hope I've changed your mind. Human rights are on the line, friends. That is no joke. Vote Harris Walz 2024. Stop playing with your life. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you there. But if you need more of my series, The Ghost Effect, check out my next video right here. And if you can, my friends, please support the channel on Patreon. I will leave those links, as always, right here and in the description below. I hope to see you there. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly leftist progressive videos. And I am